Welcome to Spectrum News this week. I am Uyai Anyeka and coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the major stories. Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel appeals to citizens to protect government properties sited in their areas. Plus, Ukraine's First Lady Olena Zelenska asks South Korea for non-lethal military hardware. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Nigeria's leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, who will on Thursday, May 25, officially hand over transition documents to the incoming administration led by President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The President will also confer national honors of Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, and Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, on Bola Tinubu and his Vice President-elect, Kashim Shettima. This is according to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF boss, Mustafa. At a briefing in Abuja, Mustafa, who is marking the 2023 presidential inauguration, will take place at the State House Conference Center in Abuja. The SGF further stated that an inauguration lecture on the topic, Deepening Democracy by a Children's Day program, which would involve a parade and party for children. Mustafa added that an interdenominational church service and inauguration dinner and gala night will hold on Saturday the 28th of May, while the inauguration parade and swearing-in exercise will take place at the Eagle Square by 10 a.m. on Monday, May 29th, for $800 million loan to finance the National Social Safety Network program. The request was contained in a letter read by the Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, at the plenary. The President also transmitted to the House the Federal Fire and Rescue. In the meantime, the President, during the week, reappointed Emeka Ngige as Chairman of the Council of Legal Education, CLE. Aside from the 36 state Attorneys General, the newly reconstituted council, which were inaugurated at Abuja, also had 17 legal education at the Buhari headquarters of Nigerian Law School. According to him, the reappointment is for another 4-year tenure. In a related development, President Buhari within the week also approved the appointment of Paul Obole as a member of the Council for Legal Education, Nigeria Law School. This is contained in a letter signed by the Solicitor General of the Federation, Jedi Agba, in Abuja. Agba said the appointment is. Away from that, the federal government in the course of the week approved the total sum of 19.24 billion naira for the training of 50,000 non-graduate and power beneficiaries and the procurement of taxiway lighting system in the Port Harcourt, Lagos and Abuja airports. The sum also covers consultancy services for the Danin Kowa 40 megawatts power project in Gombe State and the furnishing of the 10-story headquarters of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety RUC and her counterparts in the Ministries of Aviation, Education and Water Resources revealed this to journalists after an extraordinary meeting of the Federal Executive Council presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the State House, Abuja. She added that the Life Skill Acquisition Program had been on since the inception. Meanwhile, the federal government during the week said it was developing a comprehensive guide for the incoming administration of Bola Tinubu on how to manage the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit (PMS), popularly called petrol. It also insisted that the government of the outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari had done excellent 2005 and 2021. Speaking at the unveiling of the 2022 to 2026 strategic plan of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative in Abuja, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said the federal government had been following the debate around subsidy removal by citizens. He said some of the debates include the need to fix nationally workers. In the meantime, the federal government within the week started initiatives to bring in private capital to fund its energy transition and climate change agenda. To foster this, the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority (NSIA) and the National Council on Climate Change (NCCC) signed a memorandum of understanding in Abuja to environmental, social and governance strategy is to actively build strategic partnerships with relevant organizations to support climate change actions, and Nigeria's NEC was one of the strategic steps taken to meet NSIA's social impact goals and sustainability commitments. Elsewhere, the Federation, as of April 2023, Federation account revenue to the federal, state and local government. The details of the allocation was contained in a communique released by its Director, Press and Public Relations, Stephen Kilebi, at the end of the FAAC meeting for May to receive 218.307 billion naira, and the local government councils got 160.600 billion naira, while the oil-producing states received 28.8 electronic money transfer levies and augmentations from forex and non-oil mineral revenue were part of the amount included in allocation. On infrastructure, the Federal Executive Council (FEC) during a meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House, Abuja, gave the go-ahead for the development of Ondo multi-purpose port in Ilaje, Snake Island in Lagos and Burutu in Delta State. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, Minister of State for Transportation Ademola Aderoye said the projects would be executed through public-private partnership (PPP) arrangement at no cost to be concessioned for a period of 50 years, with the accrual to the concessionaire and the federal government expected to be $50 billion and $2.6 billion respectively. In education, the federal executive, the Ministry of Education, briefing journalists after a special meeting, the Minister of Education, Adamu, said with the approval, there are now 72 private universities in the country. Adamu stated that the approval was given considering the importance of education in bolstering the economic fortunes of the country. The country is caused by people of the area. The minister stated this at the public presentation of Core Curriculum Minimum Academic Standards (CCMAS) Book 1 series for Nigerian universities and a book in his honor in Abuja. Adam, the Commission's efforts was paying off with the establishment of more of such institutions in the northern Nigeria in recent times. He, however, expressed delight that out of the 36 new private universities approved by the Federal Executive Council on Monday, President-elect Bola Tinubu during the week promised to hit the ground running and to unify the country upon his assumption of office come May 29. Tinubu further pledged to work to ensure continued positive relations with the United States as to build on the gains of the partnership between both nations. The president-elect stated this in a telephone conversation. His priorities as president would be to deliver institutional reforms and development programs to deepen democratic institutions and bring help to poor and vulnerable Nigerians. Investment in order for the nation to lead the way and be a shining example to the rest of the continent. Moving now to the red chambers, where the Senate in the cause a bill that seeks to provide for independent candidacy in presidential, governorship, national and state assemblies and local government councils elections. According to the Senate, the CNA should transmit a constitution alteration bill number 58 to President Buhari for assent in line with the provisions of the Authentication Act. The resolution of the Senate was sequel to a motion by the Deputy Senate President Ovie Omoagege, APC Delta Central. The upper chamber also asked the clerk to transmit to the Press Security Council. According to reports, the two proposals were part of the constitutional alteration bills transmitted to state houses of assembly for concurrence last year. Meanwhile, Senate within the week approved the 2023 budget of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC), totaling 876 billion naira. The sum of 450 contains 576 million naira earmarked for running the office of the chairman of the commission, Loretta Onochie. In the overall budget of the commission, personnel expenditure is to go up 34.2 billion naira, while overhead expenditure would go up 17% of the budget, while the President of Senate, Ahmed Lawan, said the exercise was very expedient in order not to let the people of the region suffer from further delays. On judicial matters, just the candidates of the Labour Party in Abia and Kano states, the court ruled that their emergence was not in compliance with the provisions of the 2022 Electoral Act. In the suit filed to submit its membership register to the INEC within 30 days before their primaries renders the process invalid. He ruled the party that has not complied with the provisions of the Electoral Act cannot be said to have candidates in an election and cannot be On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) within the week swore in a reappointed resident Electoral Commissioner Mahmouda Issa has been deployed to the Federal Capital Territory after serving Jigawa and Kaduna states. In another development, the Economic and Financial award of phantom contracts and diversion of over 70 billion naira. The EFCC said it was making the development known following the recent attempt by the outgoing governor to cast aspersion on the integrity of the agency's fight against corruption by making what the agency described as ferocious allegations of corruption in assets disposal and plea bargain procedure, among others. The director's disclosure while addressing journalists at the Commission's headquarters in Jabi, Abuja. The anti-graft agency also confirmed that a former Away from that, the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, a trade union representing workers in Nigeria, in the course of the week said the struggle for local government autonomy will not end until the bill on the subject is passed by Abuja. Reports say state houses of assembly voted the bill seeking to grant financial and administrative autonomy to local governments. The bill seeks to abrogate the state-local government joint account, establish local government as a tier of government, and institutionalized from State Governor Domi Manuel during the week inaugurated the 16.71 kilometers Abak Ifiaikbe Mbarayop Ikorabia Som Nkor Road and 2.1 kilometers outfall drains in Ikorekbene and Oborokara local government areas, up with the urban for the overdevelopment of the states. Our correspondent has the details.
Even with all this development we are trying to put on ground, people are trying to put it already with the fruit on it. The use Manuel of Isnogolo went destroyed all those coconut plantations. Multi-million-dollar projects, all gone. And we have a refinery. So this week also we'll be commissioning some power projects. Please protect those assets. Let the people living within that area know that if you remove one cable, you have rendered the whole community in darkness. It will not only affect you. Now they are going to render thousands of people unemployed. I don't know.
Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed says developments plan vital to SDG attainment. Do stay with us for details after the break.
If your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors, for your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Nigerian police force, which is the only one. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here. For example,
with some of the killings he did,
he never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court, my lord.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll...
Join us every Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Legally Speaking.
On politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security,
education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra investment and so much more. Advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
This week. In Africa, former Ghana President John Mahama within the week was elected flag bearer of the largest opposition party in Ghana, the National Democratic Congress, ahead of elections on Saturday. His landslide victory was against his main contender, the former mayor of Kumasi, Kojo Bunsu. Meanwhile, the third candidate, Kwabena Dufo, had pulled out of the race after alleging discrepancies in the electoral roll. State Week allegedly sentenced opposition leader Rashid Ghannouchi to a year in prison. Reports say the Enanda party leader is a critic of President Said Kais and has been said to be detained since last month after being arrested for alleged other judges who sentenced him in absentia. Elsewhere, Sudan's Army Chief General Abdel Burhan, in the course of the week, issued a directive to freeze the bank accounts of the paramilitary linked to the group. According to him, one of the affected officers is Omar Ahmed, a relative of RSF Commander General Mohammed Dagalo, who is currently heading a delegation. Central Bank Governor Hussein Janko and appointed Borai El Sadiq to replace him. Meanwhile, Sudan military leader Abiy as the new General Director of Police. Reports say no reason was given for the former police chief's dismissal, but there had reportedly been similar decrees dismissing the governor of the central bank and 2 foreign ministry diplomats. According to reports, since the fighting erupted on the 15th of April, the police have been inactive in conflict-hit areas, including on the foreign scene. Ukraine's First Lady Olena Zelenska during the week requested non-lethal military hardware as she met with President Yoon Suk-yeol in Seoul. Korea presidential spokesperson Lee Dong-woon said the First Lady is asking. She also expressed hope that South Korean companies will participate in the rebuilding process of Ukraine. Reports say since the war broke out in Ukraine, South Korea has firmly maintained its stance not to provide lethal weapons to a warring community. Meanwhile, the United States Pentagon, in the course of the week, said 31 M1 Abrams tanks had arrived. Ukrainian crews are expected to begin training at Gulfrohr in Germany in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, Russian diamond imports to the UK will be banned in the latest sanctions introduced later this year. Rishi Sunak said the UK must show violence and cohesion do not reap rewards ahead of the G7 summit in Hiroshima. The Russian diamond industry was worth $4 billion. 6 more people and companies connected to President Vladimir Putin, including people who are actively undermining the impact of existing sanctions. Still on the foreign scene, former French President Nicolas Sarkozy told that he could serve his time at home wearing a tag instead of going to jail. Recall that in 2021, Sarkozy was sentenced to 3 years in prison, including 2 suspended for trying to influence a judge in a separate case. Reports say the 67-year-old was the first former French president to get a custodial sentence. He was convicted of attempting to secure information about a case in 2014 after he had left office by suggesting he could secure a prestigious job. Said the National Development Plan (NDP) 2021 to 2025 is designed to secure the future of Nigeria, including satisfying the requirements for the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. The minister said this during a forum to measure the performance of NDP potentials, particularly in the product mapping space, and expunge obstacles to business. Ahmed added that the plan is sufficiently comprehensive with the capacity to attain various development goals 2030. Still in business, the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria seeks a framework that will increase tax revenue in the country. The CITN said the evolution of digital economy in recent years had created opportunities for tax authorities to develop regulatory frameworks through platforms under one-off contract was increasing. It added that existing laws and institutional systems, particularly tax and social security system, were not well adapted. Elsewhere, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) in the course of the week said weaker currencies in Nigeria and other sub-Saharan Africa, with an average depreciation of 9% since January 2022, sub-Saharan African currencies have weakened against the US dollar. The IMF further said that the depreciations were mostly driven away from the region towards safer and higher-paying U.S. Treasury bonds. While noting that the high import cost in 2022, the IMF added that the large budget deficit had compounded the effects of the within the week, said that the recent increase in excise duty for beverage and tobacco goods will force businesses to scale down operations, which will result in factory closures, job losses, a decline in exports, among others. MAN President Francis Michoui stated this during a press conference. The increase was coming at a time when the manufacturing sector was immersed in unprecedented crisis and an acute recession due to extraordinary challenges. The brewing sector, which would bear the brunt of the excise duty hike, suffered a massive decline of minus 169% in profit before tax. Said Nigeria's inflation rate has increased for the fourth consecutive month this year to 22.22% in April from 22.04% recorded in March, according to the Commodity Price Index report published by the National Bureau of Statistics. 8 percentage points. The NBS noted that the percentage change in the average commodity price index for the 12 months ending April 2023 over the average of the CPI for the previous 12 months recorded in April 2022. The data also showed that key sectors that drove up inflation figures in June were food and alcoholic beverages. Still to come in the news. 20
Business X gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on
Thanks for staying tuned. To conclude the news this week, to federal medical centers and teaching hospitals across the country. He made this known during a visit to the University of Benin Teaching Hospital and the Psychiatric Hospital in Benin, Edo State, care baby units, among others, noting that the funds released were to build intensive care units, special baby care units, and molecular lab in teaching hospitals, and revealed that the UBTH and the IRRUA warned that taking medications to treat cataracts without surgical intervention would cause more damage. Who spoke with newsmen advised Nigerians living with eye impairment to avoid self-medication. They cautioned the public against several claims on social media that cataracts could. Still in health, the World Health Organization WHO, in the course of the week, in its new guideline on NSS, stated that the recommendation was based on findings of a systematic review of available evidence, noting that the findings suggested that the use of NSS does not suggest that there may be potential undesirable effects from long-term use of NSS, identifying some to be increased risk of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases. Africa Football CAF has announced October 12 as the draw date for the group stages of the 2023 AFCON. Senegal, Algeria, Tunisia, South Africa, Morocco and Burkina Faso have joined hosts. The Elephants among the teams to have qualified for the tournament, which has now been confirmed to start in January 2024. Meanwhile, group fixtures next month to determine their qualification for the tournament. Elsewhere, Barnsley edged a tight League One play-off semi-final second leg against Bolton. Towering back post header from Luca Connell's acing cross was the difference. Bolton enjoyed the lion's share of possession but struggled to put the home goal on the Anyville. Still in sports, the Interim Management Committee (IMC) made known by the IMC in a statement made available to newsmen. According to Head Operations IMC Davidson Owumi, the review of the schedule agreed with the night, while match officials will arrive the following day, adding that the club with the highest points at the completion of the matches will be declared champions. She broke the Guinness World Record for longest cooking time by an individual. Reports say Bassi has cooked for 91 hours to surpass the previous record set by an Indian chef Lata Tondi 11 in Lagos State. According to reports, many dignitaries, including the president-elect Bola Tinubu, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, lauded her resilience and grit. Meanwhile, Nigerian singer American music magazine Billboard. This was made known in the 2023 list released via the Billboard website. Reports. Still on entertainment, the movie series The Real Housewives of Abuja. Reports say the reunion, which is in 2 parts, will allow interactions from the stars of the show, adding that the reunion was to premiere yesterday and will be concluded on Friday, May. And that's all we have for you on the news this week, a recap of major stories during the week. Follow us on all social media platforms, all of which you can find on our website, Spectrum TV.